it's Christy again, and today I have a book haul for y'all. It's basically all the books I got in March, minus the books I got for my birthday, mostly because some of those haven't come in quite yet. They've been ordered, but they're not here, so I want to do those in a separate book haul. But the first book I have for today, I don't actually have, because as soon as I finished reading it, I lent it out to a friend because it was really good. And that is These Broken Stars by Amie, Kaufman, and Meagan. I probably mispronounced that first author's name. This was a really good book. It's a sci-fi book. They basically are two characters, star-crossed lovers. They are on a spaceship that crashes, and they're the only survivors on this very strange planet, and things happen as they always do. But he's from very poor and was a soldier, and she's really rich, like the richest guy's daughter, richest guy in the universe's daughter. And it's their story. It's really good. I really like this book. I'm pretty sure I got 5 stars. Yes, really good. Read it. The next book I have is The Messenger by Lowry. I don't necessarily have any immediate plans to read this, but I absolutely love The Giver. It is my favorite classic, and so I had to get The Messenger because I had The Gathering Blue. Haven't read that one either, but I had to have the companions to Giver. I just had to have them. So, Messenger by Lowry. Next, I have White Hot Kiss by Jennifer L. Armentrout? I can't pronounce names if you haven't noticed already. But this book is supposed to be really good. I have not read any books by this author yet, though I've been wanting to read the Lux series for a long time. I just was having a hard time finding the first book. For some reason the bookstore wants to carry every other book in the series except for the first one. That is one of the books I'm waiting for to come in the mail. I'm excited about it. But this book is supposed to be really good too. I haven't started reading it, so I don't know too many details. I know it's a supernatural, paranormal, love triangle type thing. There are gargoyles and there are demons, but the gargoyles aren't supposed to be like creepy stone statues. They're guardians, and they protect the human race from demons. That is what I get. And then the main character, the main girl, is half gargoyle, half demon, and yeah. So there's that complication. And then one love interest, my understanding, one love interest is a guardian gargoyle, and the other love interest is a demon. So it's going to be interesting. I'm looking forward to it. The next book I have is actually a bind-up of 3 books. The bind-up is called Don't Close Your Eyes by Lisa McMann, but it's really the 3 books, the Wake, Fade, and Gone trilogy. I think it's called the Wake trilogy. All I know about it is main character supposedly, like, her power is to go into other people's dreams, I believe. And this is when she goes into one particular person's dream and how chaos ensues. Something changes, something's different about that dream. I don't know that much detail, but it was at the Walmart. Yes, at the Walmart. And I couldn't resist because I kind of wanted to read it. I'd heard of Wake and it was on my list. And it was a bind-up. I could get all 3 in one. Had to get. Next, I have The Unbound by Victoria Schwab. And this is the sequel to The Archive by Victoria Schwab, which I mentioned in my previous video is one of my newest favorites. This one was also really good. Honestly, I have a hard time comparing books in a series. I just kind of put them together and say, I like this series. And so this book goes in my favorites as well. I loved this ending. I hate cliffhangers. They're just cliffhangers. Like, it doesn't wrap up the story at all. This book wrapped up its story, but then left you with this like last little note that's like, I got more. And I'm so excited for the 3rd book. I don't want to say anything about this book because I don't want to read anything about the archived. Read the archived, then read the Unbound. Promise you, you read the archived, I ordered this the day I finished the archive. You'll do it too, I promise. Next, the next book I have is Panic by Lauren Oliver. And I read this along with the book read-along for Booksplosion, which a couple of booktubers do, and they have a live show. I believe the live show is on April 5th at 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And once again, if I can figure it out, I will leave the link to the book, the Goodreads group for that read-along. It was a good book. Oh, about it. It is a small town where every summer the seniors play this game called Panic, and they do these really death-defying, literally death-defying stunts, and it follows two different characters, Dodge and Heather, and why they enter the competition and them throughout the competition. It is a good book. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of resented the author's idea of small towns. I'm like, yeah, I would have never let my friends play this game. Ever. Ever. Anyways, but it was a really good book. After I got over that, after I said, okay, say this can happen. Say that there wouldn't be a single smart person in the entire town to tell people, hey, don't risk your life for money. Then it was a really good book. Anyways, yes, Panic by Lauren Oliver. Watch the live show. Yeah. The next book I have is Heartbeat by Elizabeth Scott. This is a contemporary young adult. I cried. I thought it was a little slow to get started, but once it did, it was really, really good. I cried. Basically, the main character's mother has passed away, but is being kept alive on ventilators and machines and all that because she's pregnant. And it's her stepdad's baby, and the stepdad really wanted a baby, and she has this idea that her mom wouldn't have wanted to be kept alive even for the baby, and that the stepdad is doing it anyways because he doesn't really love her, he just wants the baby. And then she finds a guy and that understands. Anyways, it's a really good book. Yes, good book. Bring tissues, but good book. Next, I have Half Bad. It's shining against my light, yes, by Sally Green. I have to make the joke, this book wasn't half bad. No, it actually was pretty good. It had slow parts. That's how I think of this book, is there would be parts that were really, really, really good, and then there were parts that were a bit slow, and then there was really, really good, and then kind of slow. But it was also the first book in a series, and I think a lot of that was world building issues was why it got a little slow. But the book is basically about a world where there are black witches and white witches, and it's contemporary world, but we don't know about the black witches and white witches. Normal people don't. And black witches and white witches live among us in secret. And black witches are bad, white witches are good, and the main character in this book is half black, half white, therefore half bad, half good. And it's just his story. It's how he's overcoming that, and they have to do this ceremony by the time they're 16. I may be wrong, and it may be 17, but 16 or 17 they have to have this ceremony, and the White Witch Council has forbidden for them to give this ceremony to the half-black witch, and it's just really horrible how they treat him. It really is. I recommend the book. Please power through it because it is really good. In a lot of it, there's just a few slow parts, and I really think the next couple of books, now that the world is built and you understand, will be really good. So I recommend it. Power through the slow because the good is worth it. Next, I have Uninvited by Sophie Jordan. Basically, this is a future world, where we basically DNA code everybody, and they have this gene, there's this gene out there called the killing gene, and if you have the killing gene, you have HTS, which is homicide tendency syndrome. Something like that. Anyways, and you start with this character who literally has the perfect life. It takes place in Texas, and I'm from Texas, and when they were describing her school, I'm like, yeah, I don't know of any schools like that in Texas. It was a private school, but even that, yeah, okay. Anyways, it's a really impressive school. She has a perfect life. She's a music prodigy. It's awesome. And then she finds out that she has this killing gene, and she gets kicked out of her private school, and everyone's looking at her differently, and she has to go to these special classes, and it is horrible. Not the book. The book is good. I do have one complaint about the book, but I'll get to that in a second. It's horrible the way she's treated, and as a law student, I'm reading this, and I'm just like, thank God this can't actually happen. And I'm not saying this could never happen. I'm saying with the way the Constitution is written right now, it would not last, the treatment of these people in this manner. By the government. By private people, that's a whole nother story. By the government, it wouldn't last, the way the Constitution is written. But point is this book was horrible, horrible, made me so mad and angry. But it was supposed to. That's the thing. It was supposed to make you that angry. My only complaint is it kept me in that place too long. There was one character keeps saying how you think this is bad, it's just going to get worse. And that was like the theme of the book. Like, you think this is bad? Just wait, it's going to get worse, and then it gets worse. And then you think, oh, you think this is bad? No, wait, it's going to get worse. And it kept doing that, and I understand. I do. That was the point of the book, and unfortunately, it's realistic in a lot of ways. But I just kept waiting. Someone has to fight back. And now I understand the little catch-22 with this was that they couldn't fight back because then they were proving them right that they had the killing gene and they were violent people. But there are ways to fight back without proving their point. You can fight back without being violent. And it kind of bothered me that it took so long to get to any sort of fighting back. But the book overall was really good. I read it in like a day and a half because I had to finish it because I was in such a bad spot because of it. Anyways, Uninvited. That was that book. Yes. Next, I have the first two books in a series, Altered and Erased. I have not read them yet, and I actually really want to, but I got some books for my birthday that I want to read more. So these are being put on a back burner, and it saddens me. But the basic premise, because I have not read any of it, and I haven't read the back of this book, I've only read the back of this one, is basically you have like these 4 boys who are being kept in a lab on this girl's property. Her dad does something with them, works with them in the lab, and they're like subjects. As my vibe. And then the girl falls in love with one of the guys, and then they run away, all the 4 guys and her. And that's all I know. I know there's secrets and stuff like that, but I don't know what they are. So, Altered and Erased by Jennifer Rush. My tower of books are about to fall. And lastly, I have The Winner's Curse. Once again, I haven't got to this one yet. It was on my list before it was like my 4th next book. It was like the 3rd next book after these. After these. But then my birthday happened and I got some really good books. And so, The Winner's Curse. What I know about it, because I haven't read it yet, is there is the general's daughter, and basically she has the choice of becoming not a general, but joining the army or marrying. And she falls for, or I don't know if she falls for, if they just have a friendship. I think the description says friendship, but we all know what that means. Basically a slave servant. I think he's a slave, but I'm not sure. And that's her little rebellious streak and the ramifications of that. And that is all the books I bought this month. It's actually quite a few. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 10, 11, 12. 12 books. I bought 12 books. And I'm going to try to pick these up. Let's see if I can do this.